Hey, everybody. Welcome to KISS.
Keep it simple, sister.
Hey, Diana.
Hey, Samantha. How's it going today?
Absolutely wonderful now that I'm talking to you.
Yay. Me too.
Yes. What Diana and I are here doing is we're sharing with you all the tips, tricks, and techniques and the products that we've used over the many, many years, decades, whatever of our lives that have helped to give us youthful complexions. Um, because it's not just, it's your emotional state of being that creates, it's like that stuff on the inside that then reflects on the outside. So when you're holding yourself in that higher vibrational state of being, that's where you try to lift up and live in that space. Um, Life doesn't wear you down as much. You get through the harder times a little bit more easily. And so those are the things that Diana and I are teaching y'all. So the point of our podcast is, everything about feeling great by feeling better. So these are incremental steps that we're teaching you about so that you can embody these concepts.
Yes.
So on the positive path today, we're talking about listening to the nudges,
The nudges.
the nudges. And so what we mean by that is when we originally said we were going to talk about this, it's because in one of our other podcasts we mentioned something about downloads, like downloads of information, how you just suddenly have a knowingness, an awareness and understanding, whatever it is. So I'm going to give you an example of a nudge, and I get them all the time. And Diana's starting to pay attention to because you've probably
Yeah, I
been
think
getting them
we
your whole life.
all get them. Yeah, we all get them and we call them intuition. We call them just a feeling. We call I'm being drawn to something.
Yep. And these are generally things that are going to keep you out of hot water. They're going to make life a little bit easier and less cumbersome if you would just pay attention to them, which is why we want to bring all of this up. So, for instance, I mentioned earlier in the flip side that I had these plumbers coming over, and I was going to take a shower, and then they suddenly call me and say, "Oh, we're going to be there in 20 minutes," and I'm like, "Oh crap, okay." So I've just kind of left my stuff out on the bed, and I just had this nudge, "Sam, you need to put your underwear away." And I was like, they're not coming into the master bedroom. Like, I don't need to worry about that. And they come in, they start explaining all about fixing, the faucet and everything outside, and how they might have to come inside to repair it if they break this pipe, if the pipe is brittle, because it's a PVC type piping or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Can we see inside so we can see where, what's against the wall?" And I'm like, oh, shit. Had I just listened to the nudge. So I'm talking and I'm like, "Sure, come on in." So I'm leading him back to the bedroom and I race ahead. Like I'm talking to them, but I race ahead and quickly grab my underwear and shove it in a drawer. Like it was just such a silly thing, but it's like, it's important. That could have been embarrassing. Save myself, and had I listened before and just done it, I wouldn't have had those few moments of angst and what the heck am I doing and acting weird.
Well, and it's so funny that sometimes we talk ourselves out of it. Like
Mhm.
you had a little argument with yourself. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Nobody's coming in here. Blah, blah, blah. Just do it. Just do what nudges you to do.
So I want to point that out. I'm glad you said that, because we want to remember the signs of a nudge.
Uh-huh.
And one of them is, okay, so you get a thought that is not your own, like it just suddenly pops in your head.
Yeah, and you're like, where did that come from?
Um, and it's generally telling you to do something. It's generally an action, right? I don't
Yeah.
think that it's ever been it's a knowingness, but generally it's an action that you want to encourage someone to do or that you need to do. And then note, are you arguing with yourself? 'Cause that was a really good point you made because it generally comes down to um you've got, and especially as women, we have listed out what we've got to do for the day. I've got this, and this. And you're multitasking, you're trying to get all this stuff done. Then this nudge comes through and you start arguing. I don't want to take the extra time to do that. I don't want to have to do it. And so that right there is telling you that's important. You need to, someone is letting you know from the ether sphere uh,
Yeah.
that if you simply take this action now, it's going to make your life so much easier.
Well,
Um,
and that was just a small little nudge, but sometimes there's big ones. Sometimes there's like I don't know, it happens to me when I'm driving a lot. Like I'm driving somewhere and I'm trying to decide if am I going to go this way, go that way? Should I stop and get gas right now? Should I, whatever those things are.
mhm,
And I have taken recently, it hasn't been always, I've been taken to thinking, why is that telling me to go that way? Let me go. And I just do it.
mhm.
I just go now.
Well,
But before I
you
would
don't always
take the
know.
time and be like, well, before I'd be like, well, that's all, I always go this way. I'm just going to go this way.
You were arguing.
Exactly. But I don't argue anymore. I listen and I just take action.
Mhm. Yep.
And that's new for me. I mean, I think I've always had it, but like you said, you start to kind of tune into it. And the more you tune into it, the more you realize I might not even know why I shouldn't have gone that way, but sometimes there was an accident and it would have made me late for the appointment and I whatever. Or I thought I had plenty of gas, but there was traffic and I had to sit in traffic for an hour and a half. Or, things like that that you just can't predict the
Mhm.
future. It seems like it's gonna be fine, but then it's not.
Yep, exactly. So you can say it's that little inner voice in your head, it's your higher self, it's precognition.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ways we can explain it, but we just want to get down to the basics of what it is. So I'm going to give another example.
Okay.
Um, so here's an example of a more serious nudge where there's a lot of other stuff surrounding this, but the essence of it was um, all weekend long. This happened a couple of years ago. All weekend long, I kept getting this nudge. And for me, when it's kind of more serious, like, I feel like I almost feel a pressure in my body, like pushing me forward kind of thing. Like, do it,
Huh.
And the nudge was two things that just stayed on my mind like monkey chatter all weekend. Um, Clean the shower and shave my legs. Not even connected.
Right. Like,
And
why?
but it was like becoming an obsession. And so the more that it was coming through, the more I was getting annoyed by it. Like I was arguing.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't want to take the time. I didn't want to be bothered with it. And it was such a stupid thing. So that was on a Sunday, or well, that happened over the weekend. Come Monday morning, I take a shower. And I did not clean the shower. I did not shave my legs. I was taking a shower. I go to get out of the shower and I slipped and I fell and I broke open the skin on my leg. Like I ended up needing 7 stitches. Um, and and I probably needed to do this anyway, but the guy asked, he's like, when was the last time you had a
Tetanus.
tetanus
Tetanus
shot?
shot.
And I'm like, it's probably been over 10 years. I didn't know, but I knew because of that shower, even if it had been less than 10 years, I was doing it anyway. Yeah, it was kind of gross. And so, he did the tetanus shot. And then because of the where it went and all the bandages I had to have on me, I couldn't shave my legs. And they were already really hairy. And this was summertime. And so I was stuck with my hair growing like, I mean, to shave around it would have looked really kind of silly because I couldn't really like it was just
So then you just let it grow out and braided it and stuff and
yeah, yeah. I just had like I was growing flowers out of my legs. I don't know. But the thing is, had I just listened, I would have felt better going in knowing that because I was really panicked about stuff, bacteria getting in
yeah,
there. Because,
yeah.
it was that kind of, how you get the pink slime that's really
Yes.
not good to have in your shower. but it happens.
Yeah.
And I was just taking a little too long cleaning it out. So I was
Yeah.
worried about that getting in there and then, yeah, shaving my leg.
And a tetanus shot is not a fun thing to do.
Actually, you know
It
what was
hurts,
and that's part of the other
usually.
stuff is and I won't get into it, but because of my mindset going into this whole experience, I was actually cracking up about it because it's a whole other connection.
Yeah.
Um, but I was so cracking up about the serendipity of everything that had happened. And it's weird because my mood was in such a lighter place. He
It
did the
didn't even
tetanus
hurt.
shot. I didn't feel it. I
Oh,
literally did
wow.
not feel I don't
That's
know if I was in
crazy.
shock. I don't know what was going on. And then he did the stitches.
No
I'd be
big
like,
deal.
normally I'd be like, wanting to puke and
Yeah, yeah,
feel like,
yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so nudges you don't know the level of severity like that. I got to discover the level of severity, and I was just like, I know that when I really feel the push,
Uh-huh.
that it's like, do it or you're going to regret it. I mean, that is the statement. Do it or
Yeah.
you're going to regret it. But there's so many times that we do it, like you said, you're in traffic and you just suddenly choose to go another way. And you may never know why you did that, but how much easier did it make your life
Right.
just to
Well,
go?
and then on an everyday I'm gonna go to shower again since you just talked about shower. So, when I was teaching, I used to have I would plan my best lessons in the shower in the morning, or I would always have some sort of epiphany when I was in the shower.
Yep.
And I think that I was in the zone of listening to my inner thoughts, my inner feelings, my nudges. Um, and it became a habit for me. And I remember so many times I would go in and be talking to the teachers that taught with me or whatever, and be like, well, in the shower, I figured out today, blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah.
then we went with whatever it was. And it was always right. It was always right.
Hmm.
And sometimes it was the solution to a problem that I had, but sometimes it was just hey, this would be cool. Hey, this might be nice. And so I learned to try and tune into that because so many times it solved a problem that I had or prevented a problem
Hmm.
that would have been happening or whatever. And like I said, I have a little creativity going sometimes, and I was my most creative in the shower.
Well, and people love to sing in the shower, and there's all kind. Like I feel like I need to have what are the grease board or whatever, so I can write
Yeah.
stuff down. But
Yeah.
it's something about water, the conductivity of water, and how we're just more open and receiving. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and I
Yeah.
know, like for me, if I've got a reading coming up, somebody's coming to my house for an intuitive session. Um, I'll start having stuff come through and I'm like, not when I'm in the shower. Stop. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's intrusive. Um, stuff like that. But it's amazing how the thoughts filter down. Like you can have it when you're gardening, when you're doing kind of mindless or repetitive activities. And
But
of
all
course,
of this also goes back to when we were talking about meditation, when we're talking
mhm,
about grounding, when we're talking about, all those things that we've talked about in other podcasts.
it all fits together.
It all fits together like a little puzzle.
Mhm. And the thing is, I mean, I would love to tell everybody, "Oh, sit and meditate," 15 minutes to however long you want to a day. I find that I'm very ADHD. I find I am always on the run. It's very hard for me to take the time to do it. And
Yeah.
here, my world is built around this kind of stuff. And I know I need to take more time to do it. So if the only time you're allowing your higher self, your guides, whatever you want to call it, to get to communicate, to help you unravel things is in the shower or when you're getting a task done that allows your mind to open up, that's when they're going to shove it through.
Yep.
It's
Well, and so many times you get this feeling of I'm just rung up. I'm just what, and you need to ground or what. I don't know if everybody does this, but I know I need to walk outside without shoes on. I just know I do. And
Now,
then
has that always been a thing, or is that more of a recent?
it's always been a thing. I didn't know it though.
Not weird.
I know I didn't tune into it. As a little kid, I loved being barefooted outside all the time.
That's
But
interesting.
I've just, since I met you, I've really tuned into the fact that it changes everything for me when I do that.
Well, there's, just an awareness thing for people. I don't know if it's the solar cycle going on right now with all the solar flares, or, people talk about the ascension and, and how it's
And
a
we're
combination of
recording this on June 11th,
of,
just so you know. If anybody's seeing this like 6 months from now and you're
oh
like,
yeah.
there's some solar flares and stuff. No.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on since well for over a year now, but it's really ramped up I think since March. Just a lot of stuff happening in March 2024 and moving forward. And I think a lot of us are seeking out that sort of grounding and that, you know, there are a lot of us that are getting nudges to quiet down, to I'm curious. I would love to know from our audience how many people are just feeling freaking tired. And it's not all
And
the
out
news.
of sorts. It's not
Yeah.
even just tired, it's out of sorts. Like last week, we were gonna record a podcast, and I woke up, and usually I am just bubbling in the morning. That's my time.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Samantha, and Samantha's like, there, no, you just need to chill yourself. And we have to give ourselves permission to listen to the nudges and
Mhm.
also just slow down and chill if you're feeling out of sorts.
Yep. And so many of us like we don't do that. Um right now especially, it's so important to honor our bodies because there's a lot physically going on, whether you're aware of it or not. There's a lot physically going on, and there are these nudges coming through. There are your body's trying to talk to you, trying to say, slow down, you
Well, it
know.
flopped me on a sidewalk, and so,
It
I
took
wasn't
Diana
listening.
down, down.
It took me down, and Samantha was on the phone, and the phone went a flying. Yeah.
I meant to ask you, yeah, if you held on to the phone or if it
Oh, no, it flew, and as I was trying to get myself up off the ground, I'm like, "Hold on, Samantha,
can't
hang
hear
on
you.
a second."
I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So, it just know right now this is actually a really important topic about listening to your nudges, because there are physical downloads, not just, thoughts, but there is energy, vibration, frequency, whatever you want to say. There are things that are shifting in our body at a greater rate than normally has happened in our comprehension, certainly in our lifetime, this lifetime.
Right.
um so just honor it, slow down, pay attention, and it might be telling you, you know what, I really need to take a bath or a shower. Do it, even if it's the middle of the day. If that's the push you're getting, you know like I've noticed that for me it's, I'll get ready to go outside, just like I go check the mail every day now. And I'll tell my husband, I'm like, you haven't checked it, have you? Because I want to check it. And even if he says he has, I'll still check it because it's a break time. It gets me out of my office. And I have this overwhelming urge in my body to kick my shoes off and walk through the grass. And what I have not been honoring is that, like, it's weird. The grass has been beckoning to me to lay down. Like, it's just like, just flop
Okay,
down.
when as you were saying that, I got this picture in my mind of you sprawled out, laying on the grass.
I need to do that so badly. You have no, like, and it's the thing is, the moment I lay down, I start getting the grass itchies,
Yeah.
so I just need to bring a towel because then I'm sure that I'd be fine. But I just feel like I'm getting like the earth is just wanting to suck me in. It's the weirdest. And again, I say all this because I hope that anybody that comes across, our podcast, when they hear this stuff, they just go, oh my God, is that what's happening to me? Is that why I'm feeling this way, that I want to be barefoot, that I want to go outside? Like, oh, here was a weird one. So when I went out the other day, like something was just like, you normally breathe through your nose, and I tend to be a mouth breather, but it was like there was this urge, this nudge that was just like, inhale, like go, like, I mean, just visibly, audibly, just inhale. And it's like I could feel the density of the air. And it's not that it's humid. It wasn't a humid day when I did this, but it was like, I don't know how to describe it. I needed that air in my lungs. I needed to do it right then. I knew that I was taking something in, and more than anything else, I was releasing something. I didn't know what it was. Uh,
Yeah.
Just sound crazy. Sound crazy.
Well,
But
but you're in tune with your body and you listen to the nudge. And like, I think that that's habitual for you. That's how you are. That's how you live. That's how you and
mhm,
years ago and up until recently, that's not how I've been. Um, like I'm your typical type A multitasker, do 50 million things at one time. And I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's me being willing to listen
mhm,
for the nudges or what, but I'm really trying hard and not even trying. I'm just allowing myself to slow down a little bit. And no, it doesn't all have to be done right this second.
yeah.
And what keeps coming to me all the time is you matter.
Oh, wow.
You matter. You matter. Because as women and mothers and whatever, caretakers, we're so worried about everybody else and taking care of everybody else. My nudge always is take a second and take care of yourself. You
That's a
matter.
huge one.
Yeah. And that's not our our spicy affirmation, but you fucking matter.
Yep.
You do,
Right.
you do, you do, you do, you do. And so if you're not going to say it to yourself, you need to record it from me. You matter.
No, that's totally, I mean, truth
Yeah. It's a
right
truth
there.
bomb.
Truth
And
bomb.
many a time a nudge is a truth bomb and just listen to it.
I want to mention one other thing because what we originally had started this concept off with, um, we were saying downloads and nudges, nudges essentially, but the idea is, like, so when I'm talking to Diana, there's a lot of times where wisdom just flows through, ideas, concepts that aren't mine, and I know that they just
You're
come
like,
on.
where the hell did that come
And
from?
now I'm wondering, okay, so wait, do you think, okay, our original thought was that we're going to talk about downloads and then we
Uh-huh.
got into nudges, but those are kind of two separate things. And I'm wondering if we could do a whole podcast on downloads.
I think so. And my original thought when we were talking about downloads, and this will be an advertisement for the downloads podcast. Um, there are so many times when I'm talking to Samantha and she'll stop, she'll pause just like that. And I'm like, something's going on. What's happening here? And she's getting a download. She's getting a nudge. And I kind of think about nudges as like little things and downloads as like a bigger chunk.
Yeah, well, and nudges are, I just was starting to write this down that nudges, they tend to be warnings, actions, and directions.
And downloads are more like information,
Mhm.
necessary information,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it can be in the form of those, warnings, actions, directions, but it's generally bigger
Yeah.
concepts, bigger, like, I think you need to know this kind of things. Um, they're more prominent. Because, well, anyway, I gotta make sure we don't jump in. We're gonna save that one. Uh,
Yes.
so are we good to go into the weekly wanderlust?
I
Give
think
everybody
so.
their
Yep.
assignment.
Yes. What are we going to do?
So really super simple. Just keeping a journal for the next week. Okay. And paying attention to if something pops into your head and you start arguing with it. Okay. Pay attention. Is it, and that's what I was gonna say, is it a warning? Is it an action? Is it directions? Take left, go right,
Yeah.
Three simple categories to put it under. And just like it's all about what you put in your reticular activating system, your RAS. So whatever you throw into that is what the awareness is you're going to have for the week. So that's why, with this integration, it's just be aware. Are you suddenly feeling like you should go a different direction? Are you finding that you're arguing with yourself? Are you finding that that you suddenly have this feeling, this warning, whatever? And write down what it is. Keep
And
note.
we hear this whole term mindfulness, 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 mindfulness. Well, this is the easiest mindfulness to get involved with. It's just, listen to the nudge. Listen to it.
Yep.
Pay attention to it.
Very good. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. So, you guys, we want to remind you to subscribe, like this podcast, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. We really would enjoy if you would comment below, if you would share this with people that that this could be helpful to them, which kind of means everybody. But those who are willing to receive it. We now have this on Spotify, so you can listen very easily from there. And of course, you can view the video. I think you can view the video through Spotify, but also on YouTube. And come over and join us in the KISS podcast Facebook group, where we like to bring up some ideas, share, get to know people. It's still a very young community, and we are looking for very involved individuals to help bring the conversation level up.
Come hang with us.
Come hang with us. I like that. On that, we'll say
Bye. See you next time.
bye.